with you. It's gonna be a good time. Uh, we'll see how this turns out. I've been playing around with the audio and the video for that matter. Oh, we got Ballers Buddies in the chat. Bourbon Baller sent me. What's up, Ballers Buddies? Ballers Buddy. I can't read. That's fine. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am the Drink Pro. If you've not watched these videos before, I don't normally have this goofy hat on, or this very pale linen, but feeling like doing something a little different tonight. I've got 4 different samples from J.W. Kelly, and we'll talk a little bit about the brand, and we'll talk a little bit about the history of the brand. Because I have some feelings about that I want to shout into a microphone. Let me know, as always, if you can't hear me well, if anything's going wrong in the stream. I need to know. Tony Ramsey, what's going on, Tony? Unfortunately, I couldn't make it down to Tony's place. He had a J.W. Kelly that I could have done along with this, but just couldn't make it happen. I got stuck running other errands, and c'est la vie. Don't worry, though. There will be plenty more good opportunities for videos, streams, tastings, everything. Transient Trailblazers is very dapper. So, proper etiquette is I should tip my hat to a gentleman. I should take my cap off for a lady. So, I don't know who I turned my hat sideways for. But, that's where we're at today. Oh, and this is what'll happen if you don't pay attention while you're cooking with a crock pot. As you've noticed, I am sitting down today, which I haven't been doing the last couple of episodes. The last 2 or 3, at least, I've been standing. Well, I found out today that I have a torn ligament in my toe. So, fun times. We'll make do. What else we got going on in the chat here? Nate's trying to get people to subscribe. I always appreciate a sub. We'll make it happen next time, Tony, for sure. Bourbon Baller says he's laying low after a conflict on another stream. I guess they were saying he was Googling expensive bottles and said he drank them. Well, people are going to say what they want to say. Nate's got no sympathy. Get your ass on the stream. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to warm up here, as always, with my warm-up bottle. It really does help cleanse the palate, especially after a meal like I just had. And that will probably color this stream as well. I had pad thai for dinner. I actually made the pad thai. I haven't made pad thai in a while. But, I can't lean back in the chair with this hat on, so the hat's gone. Oh, man, look at that fucking... Oh, man. Look at that red mark. Anywho. Whoa, what did I just... Okay, so I've got a keyboard down here. And I put the hat down on something, and now I've got, JavaScript open. Ugh. Okay. Well, Ballers Buddies heard that we're a fun crowd, so I think that's probably true. No, it's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm happy you're here, my friend. We've got a small group coming in thus far. I imagine more people will be joining us as the night goes on. That's usually how it goes. But, before we get too far into this, I will say, I'll just sort of give you guys a rundown of what 4 tastings I've got. I know that they were photos on the initial, not that glass, on the initial thumbnail, but... it can still be good to know specifically because those photos can be kind of small and people don't often look at them. So we've got 4 different samples, and I also will tell you these samples were provided to me by an anonymous an anonymous friend of mine who only gave these on the condition of anonymity, I think because J.W. Kelly gave them to him, and he didn't really want people to know he was giving them to me, which is fine. I'm happy to get them any way I can. So we've got 4 different pours from J.W. Kelly. We've got their Old Milford Bourbon. We've got their Single Barrel Select, the Double Oaked Bourbon. We've got the Golden Age Rye. And then we've got the Double Barreled Amarone Cask Rye. So 2 ryes and 2 bourbons today. Should be interesting to see what we get out of them. I will also mention, while we're here right now, that I'll bring it up later. Let's dig into something. I'm not sure I want to jump into the J.W. Kelly just yet. We've only got a small number of people here in the chat right now, and I do recognize that we're pretty early into the stream, so maybe it'll make more sense to take it a little slower than sometimes we do. You know what? One thing I do want to do, I'll go ahead and do this first. I wasn't going to do it first, but I want to sip on a little bit of this. This is Barrel's private release. If I can't get this thing to focus. I always have the worst time with focusing this camera. You have to be very ridiculously close to it. There we go. A blend of 35% 5-year, 5% 9-year, 25% 13-year, and 35% 15-year-old bourbon. 56.59%. I've had this one before, but I really want to give it a try on this stream because I really do enjoy this. It's a really wonderful pour. People are starting to show up in the video, so I won't take too long, but these 4 J.W. Kelly pours are real mysteries to me. Like I said, I got them from an anonymous donor. I haven't tried them before. I've actually not tried anything from J.W. Kelly. And I'm a little bit skeptical about J.W. Kelly. And I'll tell you why while I sip this Barrel product. So Barrel is actually a really good comparison for J.W. Kelly because I'm pretty sure that J.W. Kelly is not doing their own distilling. They could be contract distilling, or they could be sourcing. And the important difference between those two is that contract distilling is where you tell the distillery that is making the whiskey what percentage of grains you want, what you want the process to look like. New Riff is sort of very well known for doing a lot of contract distilling. They give people who are buying a series of barrels from them a lot of freedom on how to run their process. And so contract distilling is you have the control, you just don't actually own the equipment. Sourcing is you don't have any of that control. You get the product that somebody offers up on the market. So the classic example is MGP. Now, MGP may do some contract distilling that I'm not aware of, but they're very well known for sourcing, which would be you go down to MGP, you buy 50 barrels or whatever, and there you're going to get a mash bill, one of their standards. They have 8 standard mash bills, I think. And you'll get one of those 8. You'll get a set number of years on the age, probably 4 or 5, unless you're buying a whole bunch. And that's what you get. So I don't know which one of those. BBC, the Bardstown Bourbon Company does a lot of contract distilling too. So I don't know which of those J.W. Kelly does, but I'm pretty sure they don't make their own distillate. Now, J.W. Kelly is a brand from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the brand, which isn't super obvious from their website, it's actually a product of a company called Keeper's Quest Incorporated, or Quest Brands. Now, Keeper's Quest actually owns a lot of different brands that people have heard of. Smokehead is a very popular Islay Scotch sourcing, distributing brand that they own. J.W. Kelly, obviously. And then Spey. Spey is another one people really know. So they typically are doing more scotches. Let me see what else we got on this weather website. The Big O, Eden Hill, the Six Isles, a lot of source things, basically. London Hill, which is gin. So, they're essentially an importer and a distiller, or not distiller, distributor. They're essentially an importer and a distributor. So I imagine that they're sourcing distillate from Chattanooga, which, if it's in Tennessee, I always kind of assume it's Barton distillate. But it doesn't have to be. It could be. Could be something else. But we'll give it a shot and see what it tastes like. But it'll be interesting. So J.W. Kelly's not been on the market very long. They've been on the market a couple of years. And, one of the things that I don't love that Quest has done here with the J.W. Kelly is they basically purchased the rights to the name J.W. Kelly and Company, which is a Chattanooga company that had been around for a long time until Prohibition, fell apart during Prohibition, and now it's being revived. Again, and that's not just being disparaging against the company or the people working there. I just personally prefer it when people try to build their own brand instead of buying into the history of a different brand. I understand the appeal of it. I mean, to me, it's very much the way I feel about people in whiskey, who are especially in Whiskey Tube, who attach themselves to bigger channels and, suckerfish style, and just build their brand off of that. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with befriending other big channels and growing your brand that way. I mean, congrats to you. But some people, for me at least, it's very obvious that what they're doing is disingenuous. They're not really befriending these bigger channels, they're using them, and I find that really distasteful. And sometimes that's hard to discern. Sometimes it's hard to tell when somebody is using a bigger channel or they're actually friends. Is this a friendship that's rooted in actual friendship, or is it rooted in something less savory? But enough about that. We'll talk about J.W. Kelly some more. I'm going to take at least one taste of this barrel I just poured myself. Man, I like that a lot. The fun thing about the blends that Barrel does is they're usually going for a specific profile. And for me, I get a lot of cinnamon red hots on the finish. That's what just hit, was this sweet, hot cinnamon. Nice, long, lingering cinnamon, too. But it starts kind of oaky. This is a fun one, because it starts kind of oaky, and then it becomes sweet, and then you get this cinnamon, red hot, spicy kick. Very cool pour. Very cool pour. And Barrel, much like what J.W. Kelly is doing, Barrel is sourcing whiskey. What Barrel does, though, is they rely on finishing products and blending products. And this is a very common process for non-distilling producers. Old Carter is very well known for sourcing and then blending. It's a big thing that they do. It's a big thing that they're doing here. So, trying to blend just the right combination of whiskeys is an art form. Absolutely is an art form. And I respect the hell out of it. But it also means that when you don't do a good job, you should be called out, because it's not about the still, it's not about the production, it's about you not making them taste good and you releasing a product that doesn't taste good. So I'm probably a bit harsher on non-distilling producers than I am on distilleries, just because I recognize the complexity and the difficulty of owning all of your own equipment like that. And it forces you to be a lot smaller with your tolerances. You have to be very just on the nose every time, or it's just not going to be good. But yeah, that's J.W. Kelly. Now, J.W. Kelly himself was born in 1844 in Ireland. He came to Tennessee through New York in the 1600s. Moved into Chattanooga 1865 to collect a debt, is what the website says. And the next year, he established his name in a distillery, and he sold 12 different labels of alcohol. He also becomes the proprietor of a popular saloon in Chattanooga, and he died in 1907. The production continued until the Attorney General took J.W. Kelly and Company to court for trading alcohol in a dry county in 1910. Prohibition in 1915. This is all coming right from their website, by the way. Prohibition in 1915 basically killed off the J.W. Kelly brand. And in 2017, it says, and I'll quote this, distribution of J.W. Kelly bourbon is dormant until 2017 when the recipe is revived and resumes production. Now, I'm going to be generous with that wording and assume when they say the recipe is revived and resumes production, what that means is that they're contract distilling. I think that's a generous interpretation. I always want to give a generous interpretation before I assume the worst from a brand or from anybody, really. So Quest Brands is putting together this J.W. Kelly brand. They're doing several different products in it, and I'll talk about each of the whiskeys. They actually give nice little blurbs about the whiskeys, which I really appreciate. I'll dig into each of those. I actually have every product that they offer. They only offer 4 products right now: the Golden Age. I'm gonna actually do them in the order they list them: the Golden Age, the Melrose Rye, those are both ryes, the Single Barrel Select. I'm not gonna do these in the order they list. Well, maybe I will. Who fucking knows? And then the Old Milford. The Old Milford is their standard. But I think it's really cool that they've done it this way. They're being moderately transparent, more transparent than I've seen brands be. So I'll call them out when I see them not being transparent. I don't love how they've bought their name and their way into this brand name, but they tell you that's what they did. So can't hate them too much, right? All right, what else we got here in the chat? Yeah, Nate asked what the stats were on this barrel. The barrel that I'm sipping on, I gotta get the camera to focus. It's 35% 5-year, 5% 9-year, 25% 13-year, 35% 15-year, 56.59 proof. It's a really solid pour. To be honest with you, a lot of the things I've bought from Barrel are not good values. Baller's Buddy points out, that is a very important question. Is it good for the value? And I think that it is not always good for the value, but Barrel. But this one, I bought it on a whim, and I really like it. I'm very happy I picked this one up. In the near future, do a little bit of self-promotion. In the near future, I will be doing a video on the Seagrass Barrel product, which has gotten a lot of hype lately. So I'm looking forward to trying that one. I might do a fresh crack live in a video for that one, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, it's very interesting. It starts very oaky, and then it gets sweet. And there's a sort of like walnut oak undertone in the background. And then it finishes with that really nice red hot sizzle. That's good stuff. Yeah, I actually don't know off the top of my head what the pricing is for these. Baller's Buddy, I'm balling on a budget, so I'm selective on what I get. I totally relate to that. I actually, despite the lavish collection over my left shoulder, I try not to spend a whole lot of money on whiskey usually. I mean, I want to buy all the good things, but I can't afford to drop the kind of bombs that some people do out there. I can't ball like Bourbon Baller. Maybe I ball more like Baller's Buddy. So let's get some pricing on this stuff. I'm just going to use internet pricing. Total Wine. Total Wine has the Old Milford. This is the Barrel Select for 57. The Old Milford for 52. Let's do the J. So $50 to $60. Let's check the ryes. Total Wine has the Golden Age Rye for very cheap, $30. The Melrose Cask Rye that's finished in an Amarone cask, which, by the way, an Amarone cask is Amarone. Just read this. Amarone is an Italian, rich, dry red wine. It's I think Amarone actually means the great bitter. So I'll be curious how much that affects things. Usually relatively high alcohol. There's all kinds of fun information about Amarone. Amarone. I won't sit here and read just Wikipedia to you guys because I assume you're capable of doing that. But yeah, so I would say these pours vary between Well, with the exception, the Golden Age Rye is cheap. We'll call that $30, and everything else is between 50 and 60. And that's based on relatively low prices from Total Wine and Spirit. Your prices locally may vary. Probably will vary, actually. I know they will if Baller's buddy is out with Bourbon Baller in Washington State, because it is really, really expensive out there. It smells beautiful too. I'm still smelling that barrel. You know, maybe it was a bad thing to do to put the barrel in front of these J.W. Kellys, because it's really a high bar I'm giving the J.W. Kellys to climb over. But let's go ahead and dig into the first one. I guess I'm gonna go by bourbon first and then rye. We'll see how that goes. I think I already said I'm sitting because of my torn foot ligament, but it does some weird things. This is not the most comfortable chair, so I'm pretty squirrely right now. So apologies in advance for my squirreliness, but it happens. Let's go ahead and try the Old Milford. Now I'm going to pull up the stat sheet on the Old Milford. This says, and I'm just going to read this from the website because it's ridiculous. This says, the spirit of J.W. Kelly, born in 1866 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, is captured by marrying 5, 6, and 8-year-old barrel-aged 5, 6, and 8-year-old aged barrels of bourbon hand-selected by the JWK crew. Okay, so right off the bat, I appreciate it. That's transparency. They're taking sourced whiskey, and then they're blending it. It says, this Old Milford straight whiskey is handcrafted in 3,000-gallon pot stills to give it bold and unique characteristics. All right, so whoever you're buying this from is using 3,000-gallon pot stills. Thanks for that. Then they have tasting notes. We'll revisit those. I just noticed that these are all sealed. Focus, focus, focus. Why will you not focus? Why will you not focus? Will this help? Yeah, look at that. That shit is sealed. These are sealed samples. I actually assumed that they were half full like this because the person who gave them to me already tried them. And it's now making a lot more sense why the person who gave these to me told me not to tell anybody who gave them to me. I get it now. I get it. So, this is the Old Milford. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm going to let that breathe a little bit, because I do not like where I started with the nose, but sometimes right out of the bottle they smell bad. I've had that happen many times on very good whiskey, so give it a breathe. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour the next one. The next one I'm going to pour is the J.W. Kelly Single Barrel Select. Now, the Single Barrel Select, it's obviously a single barrel. Let's see. Now, this started in 2016, so this started a little bit earlier than their blending. They come in at 109 proof, hand-bottled, double oaked. The barrels are 5 to 8 years old, and then once they're selected, they transfer it into a new American oak barrel and age it for another 8 to 12 months. Pretty standard double barrel process. You know, I see a lot of pours out there, like the one that comes to mind immediately is the Woodford Double Oak. That's essentially what they're doing with that. I think that there's also a process like that on some of the Maker's Mark products, I believe. So that's relatively par for the course. And yeah, 5 to 8 year old single barrel, so that puts it right in the middle of the age statements for that initial Milford. And I'll also tell you that just by looking at the color, so this one is the double, and this is the single. You can tell it's a little bit darker. Not a lot, but a year on oak. That's going to make some difference. Let's just do the bourbons first, and then we'll talk about the ryes. So, right off the bat on the nose, now this is the 5, 6, and 8-year-old bourbons. Now, the nose for me is very grain forward, which I don't love. Fuck, where did you guys go? I just lost you all. There you are. Okay. Baller's Buddies got the OGD 114. A double oak single barrel seems like that can't be a thing since it's in 2 barrels. That's a good point, Nate. You know, I think that I like the way you think about that. That's kind of funny. You're right. That's kind of cute. Look at Nate being all cute. Yeah, this thing though, it kind of smells. I mean, so remember, Quest, the brand that is doing most of this importing and that owns J.W. Kelly. They typically deal with Scotch. The biggest brand they have that I know of is actually Islay Scotch, which is the smokier Scotches. Oh man, you can really see where I thumped my head in good with the fucking camera before I went online. Gary Street, I did not like the double oak single barrel, which was surprising to me. Well, we're going to find out if I like it or not. I've heard not great reviews thus far from just a few people I've talked with, but I've got a different palate than a lot of people, so gotta always try it. But the nose on this I do not like. I mean, this smells like it smells like fermenting mash. Like before you age the whiskey, the new makey, sharp, fermented. You can smell the sweetness of the grain. I almost get like an oat quality. I don't have any mash bill information, so they could be fucking putting oats in this. Who knows? As I spend more time in it, it opens up. It gets a little bit more cinnamony. But it still smells very young. I get almost a sourness, like lemons in my oatmeal kind of vibes. Yeah, this is very lemons in my oatmeal. Baller's Buddy sounds pretty horrible. Well, it's unique. You know, I don't know if it's horrible yet or not. We'll see how I feel about it once I taste it, but it's not my favorite nose, I'll tell you that much. Nate said, like, underripe banana. I could totally see that, yeah. Also, I apologize for doing this, but my right nostril is not working great tonight. I think the seasonal allergies are kicking back in, so doing what we can. Trying to make it work on a video. Let's taste this. All right. I don't think that's Dickel. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's not Dickel. The finish on this is incredibly oaky. And that's not the double oaked either. That's the single oaked. But the finish on this, it tastes like raw chocolate and granola and oatmeal. It's not bad. It's not bitter. It's not sour. It doesn't have that grassy quality. A lot of these notes are things that you'd pull from underaged or whiskey where they cut the tails too small or too long, or they took the heads too small or too long. Something wrong with the distilling process or something wrong with the aging process. There's nothing really wrong with this, but that's not great. That's not like a high praise. Saying there's nothing wrong with it is not high praise. Now, this is supposed to be their sort of like standard mass appeal whiskey. Baller's Buddy says, is it made by Quaker? Yeah, it kind of seems like it. Trev's going to pop back in when he's off. And then we got a couple people asking about Jack Daniels. I mean, it could be, but it's distinct in certain ways from Jack, at least from my experience. Now, maybe they're doing some contract work with Jack, but I don't know. I feel like Jack taking their shitty barrels out and selling them. Maybe. Love the start. It's a beautiful start. It starts with very nice, soft honey and flower notes. Mid palate. Well, I was talking through the mid palate. The finish just isn't my favorite. But I do think that a lot of people would actually like this finish. I think this finish isn't my favorite, but I do think it's something people could really, really enjoy. It's very, like I said, it's definitely got that dark chocolate vibe. It's definitely got that. It's not drying at all. It's oaky, but it's not drying at all. It's more like boggy. So like Scotch people that get bored with bourbon, that still want a gentle drinker, but they want something with a little bit more intrigue. This might be a good option for them. Third taste is a charm. Honestly, the more I drink this, the more I like this. Which is a good sign, because as you keep taking drinks, you'll find more and more notes. Typically, the first drink will just give you this initial profile, and then as you keep sipping, you'll find new things. You'll find an expanded presentation. The palate just gets more and more of the details right, basically. You're more and more in tune with what's going on once you keep tasting it.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting. Is this how I'm supposed to do this?
Yeah, that's fine. Light honey, a little bit metallic, definitely got that floral note. Very soft mid palate. The oak presents very quickly, but it's not dry oak. It's not dry at all. A little bit of like brown bread. Yeah, and the more I sip it, the less that bitteriness, that bitter cocoa quality kind of dissipates more and more. It becomes more and more like a dark chocolate combined with this sort of like semi-sweet brown bread. I mean, you can tell it's a little young. You can tell it's a little thin. You get a little bit of that metallic ping. But overall, I wouldn't pay $50 for this. This is a very good $35 bourbon. If this bottle was $35, I'd put it on my shelf and keep it there. Because this has some really this is very user-friendly. I wouldn't feel bad about putting this on ice, because it's got a nice experience to it. It's gentle, so it's not like a real thinking man's like sit there and break it apart whiskey. Ooh. Now I go back in on that nose and I'm getting some real cinnamon. But it's raw cinnamon. It's not candy cinnamon like that barrel. That barrel was like cinnamon red hots. This is like raw cinnamon and brown bread. If you don't know what if you don't know what the brown bread is I'm talking about, think about the brown bread. Think about the bread you'd get at like a Texas Roadhouse. I think they do bread with your meal that's like brown. If they don't, somebody name a different place in the chat. Gary Street. If I give you a couple samples, will you do an Elijah Craig flight? Absolutely. I absolutely will, Gary. I would love to do the A121, A120, and B519. I am going to be trying to get my hands on a sample of the B521 as well, so I might sneak that in there. But Gary, I will absolutely do that, my friend. Yeah, Nate can give me the B521. I'd love to do that, Gary. Shoot me a private message. Shoot me an email, thedrinkpro@gmail.com. However you want to hit me up. You know what? This is a good opportunity to throw my ticker up and say, if you like what I'm doing, throw me a Venmo at The Drink Pro. If you got any, we'll do this like an OnlyFans. If you've got anything you want me to do, throw me money in the Venmo and then ask me to do it. That is legit how OnlyFans works if you don't know. And then, yeah, patreon.com/thedrinkpro. Part of the benefit of the Patreon is you get live monthly live streams. And this Sunday, after the race, is going to be this month's May live stream for my patrons. And patrons, if you are able to watch that live stream, you'll be able to enter into a giveaway that will be 4 samples, and it'll only be available during that live stream. So there's a very small group of people. So there's a very high chance that you'll get your hands on some fun samples. So check that out. Patreon.com/thedrinkpro. There's a lot of great content up there, a lot of opportunities for cool stuff. You definitely should join. It's cheaper than buying me a well pour once a month. It's cheaper than that. Anyway, I should put my email up there, thedrinkpro@gmail.com. I'll just do it in the chat. What the hell? I usually am less interactive on the screen than this, but since I'm not standing, I got to do something to occupy my hands. I don't know why standing occupies my hands, but it really does. Oh, perfect. Gary works till 6 downtown every day. Well, shoot, man. I live downtown and I work till 5, so you get off work, I'll meet you. We'll make it happen. Okay, I'm going to stop sipping this because I want to try the others. I want to be able to come back to it. But I actually like that. It's not perfect. It's got its quirks. But the more I keep sipping it, the more I like it. And that's just not because I'm getting drunk, because I have not had that much whiskey. So, like, to me, that's a really good sign. If I keep sipping it and I like it more and more and more, that's a really good sign. Like I said, yes, it's got its quirks. Yes, it's not perfect. But if you spend some time with that, it's almost like when you first try coffee, or you first try something bitter, or you first try something that maybe not traditionally a flavor you like, it'll grow on you. I think that one grew on me very quickly. Let's try the Single Barrel Select. This is the double oaked. I'll go back and give you some of the info about it. So that first one was a blend of 4, 5, 6, and 8-year-old. The first one I was just trying was 5, 6, and 8-year-old bourbons blended together. They were from 3,000-gallon pot stills. Let's go with their notes. Their notes say, wonderful caramel color, spicy flavors of oak, white pepper, vanilla, and English toffee. I can get that. The blend teases your palate with honey, baking spices, and nutmeg. Then says as well of hints of coffee and fine chocolate. I definitely called the chocolate, and I called the baking spices and the honey. The nutmeg I can see. Certainly in the mid palate I see the nutmeg, but there's this sort of metallic note that overpowers it for me that's unpleasant. The finish is long with cinnamon, white pepper, barrel char, and a slow warming heat. I would agree with that, mostly. Anyway, let's go back to the Single Barrel Select, which is 5 to 8-year-old barrels. I do not know how old this barrel is. But what I do know is that they then spend, after their normal 5 to 8 years, 8 to 12 months in a brand freaking new barrel. So, double aged. Ooh, and I tell you what, I like the nose on this one a lot better. It's sharper, which isn't always better, but in this case it is. It is higher proof. The first one was 47%, this is 54.5. And that higher proof shows up in a nice way on this particular pour. That really brings the sweetness. Ow! Fuck. I'm sure you didn't grab the barrel by accident. I'm sure. Yeah, this one I get a lot more sharp. It's very similar. I would say sharp toffee sweetness, and the vanilla shows up. But it's more vanilla bean than extract. It definitely can smell the alcohol in this. This definitely does smell hot. I get like a fruitcake thing. Nate says I need to do a 4-gate lineup. I don't have that many 4-gate pours. I would love to do a 4-gate lineup. If you have a 4-gate pour that you would like me to try, please hit me up. Let me know. My email's in the chat. I would love to do a lineup of a bunch of different 4-gate products, especially if I could do it blind or something fun like that, but I just haven't gotten a chance to try that many, so hit me up, let me know, we can make it happen. Ooh, coming back to it now, I'm almost getting like a very slight banana bread. You know what? This could be coming out of Jack Daniel's or something. There's a very slight banana note that reminds me in some ways of like the Single Barrel Select Jack Daniel's products. They tend to have a little bit of a banana. Well, I can get a bunch of 4-gate apparently from Nate and Trev. I'm really trying to get some specific notes, but honestly, like, it's very pleasant, but it's not complex at all. It's, you know, baking spices, toffee, and vanilla. And then you get the heat. Ooh, singe the nostrils. A lot of heat, a lot of heat. Yeah, there's a little bit of banana bread quality. All right, let's go ahead and try it. Tab 25, 4 square before 4-gate, please. I actually have a couple of different 4 squares now, tab 25, so I will definitely be doing a 4 square rum in the near future. I'm debating whether I want to do it as a video or as a live stream. I'm leaning towards live stream only because I've got, I think, 4 or 5 of the 4 gates now, and I don't want to edit that. I don't want to edit five videos like that. Alexander Howell. Hey, Kyle. Here late. Just was going to ask if you get any JD influence. Which bottle is this? So we are now on the single barrel double oaked at 54.5%. The original J.W. Kelly Old Milford at 47%. Blend of 5, 6, and 8 year barrels. I do get some JD influence. I get, especially on this one more so than the first one. This one I definitely, but it's got this like, both of the first one and this one have this sort of sharp metallic note that does not remind me of JD at all. But I feel like they must be doing that Tennessee, the Hardicanity process, where you filter through charcoal, because that really imparts, it doesn't really pull out for me very much flavor. It imparts a certain flavor. And I feel like that flavor has been imparted into both of these products. Let me taste this. That is very similar to that old, what is it? The old I keep wanting to say something different. The old Milford. That is shockingly similar to the old Milford. Higher proof, obviously. But almost the exact same drinking experience. Now going back to the old Milford after the single barrel double oaked, yeah, I'm getting a lot more of that bitter oak and a lot more of that metallic. It's giving me a lot of craft vibes, so I don't think this is Jack Daniel's. I think it's got Jack Daniel's not necessarily roots, but I don't know, Jack Daniel's inspirations, something like that. But both of these are kind of suffering from that Texas whiskey problem that I caught with the with my most recent Texas bourbon, which is essentially they kind of taste too young and too old at the same time. This one tastes kind of over oak. It's a little bit bitter. It's a little bit drier certainly than the first one. The oak is kind of overpowering. The nuance I feel is lost. Well, on the front of the palate, I get this metallic grain forward quality. And I gotta say, between the double oak single barrel and the old Milford, I think I prefer the old Milford. The old Milford is just everything's softer and more balanced. Like, there is some unpleasantness in that metallic note. There is some unpleasantness in this sort of bitter brown bread quality. But it's not unpleasant in the same way. Maybe it's because it's been quieted down a bit. It's sort of... it softens those flavors in a way that makes them more like a feature and not a bug. I mean, like I've said before, there are a lot of things where there's a flavor that might seem not great. Bitterness, for example, that people don't want, but in small quantities, it can actually be really positive and good. Or like fish sauce. We had fish sauce with the Thai food today. Like, the essence of fish is not a good flavor, but in small quantities, it can work really well. The tab device having trouble typing on his phone, and Yolanda has joined the chat. What's up, Yolanda? She will be joining us for the Patreon exclusive live stream on Sunday night, by the way. So, if you want to chat with Yolanda, join Patreon. Patreon.com/thedrinkpro. Exclusive access to my lady. I'm sure she loves that. I mean, I will say again, just like the first one, like the more I smell this, the more I like it. The more I drink it, the more I like it. You get used to the weirdness in this. It has a weirdness, but you get used to it. This is a whiskey that would fare very poorly in a blind flight, but that does very well if you sit there with a bottle and drink it all night. Because now I'm starting to like this nose. Like, now I'm getting really nice... Really nice, like, eucalyptus and citrus. Still getting the baking spices. And that sweet toffee is definitely still there. I mean, this is not a bad nose. Uh-oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Where'd my mouse go? Get back there. Oh, boy. By the way, guys, this is my microphone. Gotta look at it while I talk. I'll talk into my camera and look at the microphone. By the way, guys, be sure to check out this week. Be sure to check out my video this week. I don't know what it is yet. But watch it. June. In June, I'm going to be doing my E.H. Taylor vids are coming in June. There's only a couple E.H. Taylors I don't have. I will definitely shout them out again in another video, but I don't have the 18-year marriage. I don't have the new Warehouse C that's being released in June of this year. But I don't have also... These are the worst. I'm not even drunk. These are the worst plugs. Get your shit together, Kyle. Man, Nate's already making fun of me for my plugs. Okay. I don't have the Warehouse C, the new one for 2021, or the Tornado Survivor Warehouse C. I don't have the 18-year marriage. I only have the barrel proofs 8 and 9, the last 2 years. So I don't have 2021, and I don't have anything before 2019. Oh, shit. Well, there's only one other I think I don't have. The old-fashioned sour mash. I don't have a pour of that. God, there's one other. I think there's one other. I don't know. If you have any of those that I've just named, the old-fashioned sour mash, the Warehouse C Tornado Survivor, if you're lucky enough to get your hands on the most coming up, the one that's coming up soon, the Warehouse C that's in June, or the 18-year marriage. If you got any of those open, you want to share an ounce, please reach out to me, thedrinkpro@gmail.com. I can't do plugs anymore. Bye. This is the face of somebody who's tired and has very thick pores and can't do plugs anymore. But I'm still going to make videos. I can't stop. Now I'm in too deep, guys. I'm in too deep. Look how fucking close I am to this camera. Okay, what the hell's happening? I'm scaring away viewers left and right. Great, good, grand, wonderful. Okay, let's do the golden rye. Let's do the golden rye. This is the cheapie. This thing is $30, give or take. Golden Age Rye. Let me get some deets on it. Give me the deets. Give me the deets. Golden Age. Oh, I got mash bills on these bitches. Awesome. The Golden Age Straight Rye Whiskey has an exciting... Oh, fuck. Here we go with this copy. Oh, my God, guys. Oh, this copy right here. This is some of the best bullshit I've ever seen. The copying... The level of bullshit on this copy is fucking epic. And I'm going to interrupt myself. I'm just going to read this straight through and then keep interrupting myself. Golden Age Straight Rye Whiskey has an exciting mash bill of 56% rye, 20% malted barley, and 15% malted rye. Pause. An exciting mash bill. The mash bill is exciting. Have you ever heard of such an exciting mash bill in your life? The mash bill's exciting, guys. It's 65, 10, 20. 15, 20. Fuck you. Exciting mash bill, fuck you. Come on. I'm sorry. I should be trying to be nice with people in the industry. I fucking tagged JW Kelly on Instagram in this post, but like, don't tell me your mash bill's exciting. Just stop. Bottled at an impressive 94 proof. It's not impressive. 94 proof has never been impressive and will never be impressive. If you made it 74% ABV, then I'd be fucking impressed. That's impressive. That's hard to get in a whiskey. 47% is not impressive, bro. This luscious straight rye whiskey is matured in superior oak barrels for a minimum of 2 years. You mean to tell me you're using all of these superlatives on a 2-year-old rye? 2. Such maturity. Maturity! It's 2 years old! Such maturity perfectly marries the rye, malted barley, and malted rye for a soft and creamy mouthfeel. I will be surprised if it has a soft and creamy mouthfeel at 2 years old, but if it does, I will be impressed. This whiskey has a note of sweet orchard fruit. Let me just start over. This whiskey has a nose of sweet orchard fruits along with classic rye spices. Okay. See, how hard was that to write a sentence without a superlative? I guess classic rye spices is a descriptor, but it's not superfluous. It's not unnecessary. Like, do not fucking tell me that 2 years old is mature. Do not fucking tell me that 94 proof is impressive. That just insults my intelligence. Well, on their website, JW Kelly has a couple of videos with a YouTuber. I can bet good money they're not going to do videos with me. Oh, it has tasting notes that start out lightly sweet, turn to crusty bread, and finish with a wee bit of white pepper. It doesn't say wee bit. It says with a bit of pepper. All right. I'm sorry, JW Kelly, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made fun of your copy, but you really need to change your copy. I haven't said the kindest things about your first 2 pours, but I kept drinking them, so they're obviously good. They have some weird quirks, sure, but I still like them enough to keep drinking them. I've had a lot of whiskey on this channel that I take 1 or 2 sips of and then fuck off with. So I like your whiskey, at least to some degree. You could, it's not perfect, but it's good. So don't give me this bullshit copy to trying to sell your 2-year-old rye. Like, come on. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. Don't worry. Tony says, we haven't seen Soapbox Kyle yet, so I don't think he's drunk. That is true. Ballers, buddy, are you going to drink anything good tonight? These reviews remind me of Leopold Bros whiskey. Good point, Tony. Although he got very close at the beginning.
Sorry, I need a crap towel.
What do you need? Oh, okay. There's Yolanda, everybody. Nate said, bah, this is going to be the greatest whiskey ever, but it won't matter. Kyle's going to hate it. Trev says, wow, this description sounds like one I've heard from American Bourbon. Total bullshit. I need this Kyle more often. He is on right now. Hey, I'm here. I'm here, man. We're on. We're going. Yolanda's getting the towel. We're on. We're going. All right. Plastic bottle. That was a better idea in my head than it was in practice. I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, so let's drink this impressively 94 proof. Luscious 2-year-old mature rye. With its exciting mash bill. I almost forgot the exciting mash bill. It's 65-20-15. All right. I'll finish the night with something good, baller. Baller's buddy. I'm going to call you buddy instead of baller. So I have bourbon baller is baller and baller's buddy is buddy. Baller and buddy. Honestly, it's really not, buddy. I actually legit like this stuff. Like, I mean, I've like I said, I've had plenty of stuff that was not good, but like, I wouldn't probably buy either of those first two. Just because that's a price point issue. That's because I don't want to pay $50 or $60 for them. If they were $35, if either one of those first two was under $40, I'd probably buy it. I don't think I'd buy it all the time, but I'd love to have it on the shelf because it's unique and it grows on you like a fungus. It's like a disease that I can't quite shake. It's like herpes. J.W. Kelly is. I'm joking. J.W. Kelly rep. That's definitely not sending me more whiskey. Ooh, okay. Now, I gave a lot of shit to J.W. Kelly. A lot of shit about the fucking copy on their website for this whiskey. But this thing smells like orchard fruit. That was 100% accurate. I shove my nose in this thing and I immediately get like orange blossoms and sweet like Macintosh apples. I mean, this thing smells amazing. This is beautiful on the nose. Like honey lemon tea. And you do get some of those classic rye notes. I get a little bit of like a eucalyptus mintiness. I get a little bit of like a cherry halls, like the cough drops. But this is a gorgeous nose. God, I hope it tastes... Guys, I hope this thing tastes as good as it smells. Because if it is, I'm going to buy a bottle tomorrow. I fucking will. Because, like I've said, I mean, I've given them a lot of shit. But like those first two pours weren't bad. They were just too expensive. Baller's buddy said he felt that way about Breckenridge first. Hated it at first, but it was good after a while. Some whiskeys are just like that, man. It's hard to say. Some whiskeys just like... They just take some time. And I've had other whiskeys that I love the first few pours of, and they just fully fell off a cliff. Totally fell off a cliff. All right, let's give this a taste. That is good. Now, you got to like rye. You have to like rye to like that. And it is a little grain forward because it's very young. 2 years is young. Honestly, before I make any grand statements, let me taste it again. Very sweet. Very sweet. Almost like candied fruit. Like candied lemons, like lemon drops. It's like lemon drops and ginger with some rye grain. And the rye grain lingers in the finish. Long profile, long mid palate, long finish. Very little oak influence. It's only 2 years on it. But that long finish is definitely like rye grain prominent. With a little bit of, yeah, I guess I would have to say the ginger. Man, guys, that's... Oh, hold on. All right, let's do one more taste, then I might make a pretty grand statement. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to say something I did not expect to say. I'm on the Golden Age Rye. That Golden Age Rye is the best 2-year-old rye I've ever tried. There might be better ones out there, but I've never had them. I've never tasted a 2-year-old rye that I liked more than that. That is beautifully sweet, candied fruit, lots of fruit, gentle grains, nothing is sharp, nothing is out of place, very, very lightly oaked. I like a more grain-forward whiskey. I like a fruity whiskey. This is just on all fours for me. This is exactly what I want from a young rye. It is young. There's no escaping the youth. But as shitty as their copy is for this, this is a fantastic rye. So, well done, J.W. Kelly. Put my face on your website saying what I just said instead of that goofy copy. I'll say it again for you in a higher res video if you want me to. Hit me up. Get in my DMs, J.W. Kelly. Oh, this is fucking... I'm definitely buying a bottle of this. Oh. And this was the one that was the cheapest one. This was the one that was like, what, $30 when I looked it up? What's the price on this? What's the price on this? J.W. Kelly. I'm fucking buying this. I might buy this right now on live on the air. How are people giving this such bad ratings? They're just fucking dumb. $28 in Nora. $28 here in Indianapolis at Total Wine. I can get it delivered. Shit, I should get it delivered here. Can I get it delivered here? Let me check. Let me type in my address. Hold on. I want to get this shit delivered. I'm going to buy whiskey live on the internet. I think Yolanda just sighed at me from outside. Finding out if I'm eligible. Delivery is available. How much does delivery cost? I might fucking do this. I might do this shit. No delivery fee. Are you joking me? But I wouldn't feel right without tipping the dude for driving all the way here from Nora. Oh, here we go. All right. There is a delivery fee. It's just not built in. It's based on when you tell them to pick it up and deliver it to you. Okay. I'm not going to do it then. But $30, like... Yeah, it is a bold statement. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question, Tony. Yes, I'm on the Golden Age Rye. Nate says buy it and bring it next weekend, and we have a number of ryes we can try and blind. I will absolutely buy it and bring it next weekend, Nate. And that absolutely is a bold statement, but like I haven't had I haven't had any 2-year ryes that I like, or hardly any, but this is freaking solid. I really hope, because these were sealed bottles and these were sealed samples, I have a sneaking suspicion these came from the people over at J.W. Kelly. And so I really hope that this golden rye is not like a special sampled out product and is somehow different or better than what's on the shelf. Because if this is what they're putting on the shelf as their 2-year rye, I am in. I'm going to go back just real quick and try the double oaked again, just to get my bearings, because that was freaking phenomenal. Yeah, that bitter, there's that over oaked bitterness. I think the old Milford's dead and gone. But yeah, there's this bready, grainy unpleasantness, bitterness in the mid palate that if you keep sipping it, you grow to get either used to it or you grow to like it, but at least initially it's kind of off-putting. But I don't get any of that with this rye. This rye is freaking gorgeous. Man, I like that a lot. And that's the right proof point, too. 47 proof. I always wonder when people proof things what the reasoning is. Why are they putting it at which proof? I can tell you with certainty that whatever logic they were using for this proof, part of it had to be profile and taste, because this just tastes exactly how it needs to taste. I think if it was higher proof, it might get ruined because it is young and that sharpness might come in through and kill it. If it was lower than this, if it was at bare basement 40, you'd lose the nuance. And that fruit really relies on that nuance, that fruitiness that fits alongside the rye. That's a function of that nuance. Man, I like that. That's the kind of shit that can make a guy a rye drinker. All right, we'll come back to that. Let's pour out the last one here. This is Melrose, the rye whiskey finished in an Amarone cask, which I'm sure I'm saying Amarone wrong. Sorry. Again. Oh, it almost did it. Come on, you fucker. Yeah, you could watch me break that seal. Why they were only half full when they sealed them, I don't know. The Melrose, okay. Their copy on the Melrose is a little less, well, I don't know. Melrose incorporates a rye mash bill first matured in an American white oak barrel that has been air dried for 2 years. That's actually good information. I'm glad they put that in there, because typically the American white oak used for bourbon and rye is not air dried for 2 years. That's longer than normal. Then lightly toasted and charred. So this is also a toasted barrel. So it's a longer age, longer open air age than normal. It's not kiln dried, it's air dried for 2 years, and they're toasting it before they char it. So that's a lot of good information about the process going into this particular rye. Then it says it's finished to perfection and carefully hand-selected Amarone wine casks that reflect truly exotic woods. Truly exotic woods? Really? It's my skeptical face. This attention to detail helps create a unique and rich taste. Legendary 2KW killing time and reputation. Don't care about any of that. The distinct aging process that Melrose undergoes adds spicy and dry flavors, heightens notes of cherry and cinnamon, creates an all-new experience for rye whiskey connoisseurs. Chattanooga's first-born rye whiskey, Melrose, is available in select cities across America. Good for them. All right. Wow, the chat has devolved into talking about water sports. God damn, I am glad I've been away from that. Ballers buddies getting dirty in the chat. All right. Now, I do think that the Melrose is a little bit darker, but it looks like it's NAS. Yeah, the Melrose is NAS. Is it their only NAS? Yeah. Well, it's the only one they don't reference an age on at all. There's no age reference to the actual time in a barrel on the copy on the Melrose. They reference that the oak is air dried for 2 years, but they don't reference the age of the whiskey at all. Ooh, okay, that's kind of a fun one. This is a fun nose. Ooh, it's very, very fruity. That wine cask really shows up. I get lots of pear and prune. I get like orange marmalade. If you send Kyle a Venmo, he'll find out if YouTube will allow you to watch and break the seal. Yeah, just send me the Venmo and we'll see what happens. At the Drink Pro, right? Well, you can join the patreon.com and help me every month. Or you can send me a Venmo at the Drink Pro. How about that? I am not going to whip my dick out on a stream. I'll just tell you that right now. I'm not going to do that. So come up with something else. The nose on this I don't like as much as the other one. Yeah, the nose on the Golden Age. The nose in the Golden Age is a little bit better for me, but only because it's a little bit more wine-centric. So you get some of that, like, sweet, sour wine grape vibe. But the champagne grapes on this come through on the nose. It is prominently grapey on the nose. Now this one... Now this is, I talked about how it's a double barrel. It's the Amarone Finish, 46%. So this is actually the lowest proof of the bunch, and it shows. It's pretty, not bland, but soft on the palate. The wine is very prominent. And the rye grain... See, here's the thing. I feel like this is a very young rye as well, much like the other one. But because it's finished, that finish highlights the fact that it's young. So instead of highlighting the fact that it's got rye grain or that it has spent time in a barrel, you get this very distinct, like, sweet white wine flavor. Which is funny because I think the Amarone is actually a red wine. But the flavor for me is more like a white grape. There's this very distinct wine flavor that then immediately gets transitions into this very young rye. This one's also significantly more bitter on the finish. I think the fact that they do that double barreling process and they finish it in wine casks adds to this bitterness. So this has got a lot longer, more bitter finish that I'm not loving. Yeah, I don't love that. Yeah, the wine finish kind of ruins it. Which is really a function of, in my mind, how young the whiskey is. I think if you took a 10-year-old rye and you put it in those Amarone casks, I know somebody's going to hate the way I say that, but if you take a 10-year-old rye and you put it in those Amarone casks, you're going to have a mellow, complex rye that's going to suck out that beautiful, bright grapiness, and you're going to have a wonderful pour on your hands. But for me, the Melrose is just too young, and because of that, the finish overpowers the main product in a very unpleasant way. It's a shame. I want to like it. I kind of want to like everything coming out of these guys, actually. Which is weird because they aren't very transparent, and they're not, they're an NDP. There's not a reason that I want to like them, except for the fact that I feel like they've got some cool stuff that just needs a little bit of tweaking. The freaking, you guys could build your whole brand on that Golden Age Rye. The price is right, the quality's right, like fucking pump that. It's for real. Don't raise the price, just put it everywhere. Get that in every bar in America. And people that are like, oh, I don't like ryes, give them that. Trevor's missed some great stuff. Trevor's missed all the fun. Sorry, Trev. I've gone on some real rants, buddy. Yeah. After tasting these ryes, these bourbons are just meh. Too oaky, too bitter. That weird metallic note doesn't go away, which I always associate with new make. So it's doing the same thing, having the same problem that I was getting with the Texas bourbon that I reviewed very recently. So actually, Trevor, the third one, the Golden Age Rye, was, and I still believe this, I think that's the best 2-year-old rye I've ever tasted, period. But now I've killed both of the bourbons coming out of J.W. Kelly. Go back to my, oh, God, and this thing fucking, oh, now it smells like icing. Oh, now it smells like icing. It smells like cherry icing. Oh my God. So, a liquor store owner is holding a bottle for me that I'm going to go buy tomorrow. And I'm also going to go buy a bottle of this Golden Age Rye because, dude, I'm here for this. I'm here for this. Oh. It's everything I want in a rye. It's fruity, it's soft, it's sweet, it's got a hint of grain. I can't be mad at that at all. I want to be mad at it and I can't be. I wanted to like the bourbons and I can't, but I wanted to hate this and I can't. I can't do anything right. I probably shouldn't, Nate. I'll shoot you a message later. Man, that is, for a 2-year-old whiskey, that finish is so long. All right, I'm about to finish this one. Let's kill this, and I'm gonna time it. I'm gonna time how long this finish goes. I'm at 27 seconds and it's just starting to die. That is impressive. 27 seconds is a long finish for a 2-year-old rye. For real. Yeah, Trevor, it is mighty impressive. And if you read the copy on their website, I made so much fucking fun of them for that copy. It's terrible copy. I put a little bit in the chat. The copy is just embarrassing, but God, that's such a good rye. Wow. Wow. That may end up being my next barrel finish project. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. That just kind of tastes like somebody poured new make rye into wine. The wine is too prominent. Not for me, man. Not for me. Well, I've run through all 4 of the samples. I'm about to kill the 4th one. Yeah, Trevor's laughing at the 94 proof being impressive. I made so much fucking fun of that, as everyone should. I wouldn't... So, Nate says it sounds like you can make a nice Manhattan Old Fashioned with that, too. Maybe. It's so delicate. It's so delicate, I wouldn't want to fuck with it very much. Honestly, I gave some shit to their bourbon, but the bourbon has enough unique flavors that I feel like their bourbon, either one, the Old Milford or the single barrel, would stand up really well in a Manhattan. Or an Old Fashioned, for that matter. But I would want a Manhattan. Because that unpleasantness that I was highlighting in the mid-palate is going to fall underneath some of the sweetness and some of the wine qualities of the vermouth in a Manhattan. So, that rye I wouldn't want to fuck with. I think that rye needs to be neat. Some of these other products, though, they would fit well into cocktails. Like this one, honestly, like this rye, my problem with it is the rye at the end is too grain forward. So, like, if you put this into something that had a strong kick at the finish, I'm trying to think if there's a cocktail with like sparkling wine and rye whiskey. Not that I know of, but if you put one of those together, I bet it would work really well. Or you could just put this in instead of a tequila sunrise, take a tequila sunrise, replace the tequila with this, call it a Chattanooga sunrise. That'd work. That'd do it. But again, I wouldn't want to pay $50 or $60 for a bottle of that. Like, if I'm making a mixer, I don't really want to pay $60 a bottle for a mixer. That feels wrong to me. I mean, there's plenty of whiskeys at $30 or $40 or cheaper that will make damn good cocktails, and there's no reason to pay $60, $80, $100 for a whiskey you're going to put into a cocktail, unless you just don't have anything else to use. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad I did that. That was a great little experiment. Thank you, Anonymous, for the donation. Thank you, J.W. Kelly, for letting me drink your unopened sample bottles here that someone gave to me. Well, I make a lot of fucking fun of you guys for your weird copy, but then I gush over your Golden Age Rye. This fucking thing. Amazing. Amazing. Get it. All right. So now we're at the time of the night where I've done my task. Now it's time to just dick around a little bit. Is there anything that people want me to drink that they know I've got? Is there anything people are curious about that they think I might have? I mean, I can just keep sipping on this barrel and answer your questions. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer every question, any and all questions. I'll do my best. I don't always have good answers. Oh, you know what? I should check and see if anybody has sent me any Venmos asking me to do dirty things, because the internet. So, of course, somebody probably did. But, and by the way, Venmo, get your shit together, because I have a personal Venmo and a business Venmo, and right now I have to sign out and sign back in on the same app between the two of them because it's being stupid. So, I hate that. Venmo, fix your fucking app so I can have two accounts going concurrently. I don't have to do this. Because it's stupid. I'm And I'm going to forget my password. This isn't going to work. Ugh. I got one more chance. Got one more chance. Here we go. All right. I think this is it. Yeah, made it work. Ballers Buddy and I have no idea what you have. Well, is there something you want to see me drink, Ballers Buddies? I've got no Venmos. No Venmos. So, no one sends me money, then that's fine. Nate says, I think as a preview you should have a nip of the Age Taylor Barrel Proof. What's it worth to you, Nate? I think both of those are 1 ounces, so I don't really want to crack into them right now. Trev says, I'm eating McDonald's and going to pour some whiskey. I'm thinking a Starlight 4-grain pick from the Bourbon Enthusiast sounds good. There you go. That's a good post-McDonald's pour. Yeah, Ballers Buddy, let me know what you would want me. If you could have me sip anything right now, what would you have me sip? And then we'll go from there. And I'll try to pick something close. Nobody wants to see water sports, that's for sure. I don't know why the water sports keep coming up, so let's stop talking about water sports. All right. Yeah, I do have a Starlight, but it's not the 4-grain pick. I'm not going to do the Age Taylor Barrel Proof, Nate. I'm just not going to do that, bro. They're both 1 ounces. I can't do that. Well, I'm going to sip on this barrel. You know, after the 4 different J.W. Kelly, going to this barrel. Now, this one is twice as expensive. Well, 1.5 times as expensive as the most expensive. J.W. Kelly that I've tried. Yeah, that's a lot more complex. It changes a lot more on the palate. That's good stuff. Nate's still pushing for the Age Taylor. Ballers Buddy says Elijah 12. I can do Elijah 12. Paint Doctor says Muckety Muck. Paint Doctor, if I had Muckety Muck, I would do that. Elijah 12 is just the normal Elijah age stated. I think the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is 12-year age stated. Muckety Muck is fantastic. I really enjoyed it, but I have not bought a bottle of it. I got a sample of it. I really enjoyed it, but every time I've skipped on a bottle of it, usually it's been because just my finances, like at that time I've already spent too much money, and so I've missed a couple of the Muckety Mucks. I think the next one I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy it because I really enjoyed it. So I may just have to say, fuck it, YOLO, I'm buying the Muckety Muck. Joe Brown, what's up, Joe Brown? He says, Old Forester single barrel. All right, we're going to start with an Elijah, and then we'll go to the single barrel. God, I wish I could do that Muckety Muck for you, Paint Doctor, but I cannot. Tony, got any Starlight Double Oaked? You know what? I don't. I think I had a bottle of it that I killed very quickly. Paint Doctor really liked the Muckety Muck since my review. Me too, man. I got to go get myself another bottle of that. Yeah, let's go in with the Elijah here. I'll go in with the B520 I got here. This is, so he said Elijah 12. Yes, it's an orphan barrel, Nate. It's an old Scotch. So as you can see, or maybe you can't because this camera never focuses. There you go. So the Elijah Craig barrel proof is 12 years old, age stated, non-chill filtered. This is the B520, 63.6 proof, percent, 127.2 proof. Let's drink it! It's a good sound. That's a good sound. I was really patting myself on the back not too long ago because I checked out one of my recent streams just to get a sense of the audio quality and the video quality, and I was very pleased with how it looked. I was very pleased with how it sounded. So the setup I'm using right now is making me very happy. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do. Thank you very much, Paint Doctor. He said my review was great. I was fun to make it. Nate apparently fucking missed that review, so he should go watch it. Oh, man. Ooh, okay, now this pour has opened up a little bit. D.E. Hola, my man. We got people coming in. We got people coming and going. I love it. Open door policy here on the Drink Pro live streams. For those of you that don't know, this is the story of the day. Why won't you focus, camera? The story of the day is my camera won't focus. The Golden Age Rye. The Golden Age Rye from J.W. Kelly. It's a 2-year-old rye. It's $30 at Wine and Total Wine. It's Dennis. That's DE. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Good to have you on the stream. Got my group hooked on the muck. Yeah, Muckety Muck was a hell of a bottle. It's over $200, so it's a hard purchase for some people. But the Muckety Muck review should let you know how much I liked it. It's a really good scotch. It's got a lot of American whiskey vibes, but I do think it is a scotch. I think it's a blended... No, it's a single grain scotch, which single grain usually means it's corn dominant, as opposed to 100% malt, like a lot of scotch. And so that gives it more bourbon-esque qualities, which I usually prefer. Beautiful whiskey. Trev wanted the Honey Hole Old Forester Barrel Proof, which is a pick, so that will qualify for for Trevor's request and for who was the others? Joe wanted the Old Forester single barrel, so that'll work perfectly. And Dennis, I'm very glad to have you in the stream, my man. Haven't seen Dennis in a while. I gotta get back down and see him. Yeah, $200 is an expensive product. It really is, Bourbon Baller, buddy. But it's a good special occasion pour for sure. By the way, if you're not in the Patreon, make sure you join because there's going to be some really cool stuff happening in the month of June. Like I said, on Sunday evening, I'm going to be doing a live stream just for patrons. I'm going to be giving away some whiskey on that live stream. So if you're a member, if you're a dues-paying member by Sunday, this Sunday after the race, and you watch that live stream, you'll have a chance to win a sample pack that's worth a lot more than the price of admission to the Patreon. I'll tell you that right now. It's less than a well whiskey at any bar. I don't care where you are, in Indiana at least. It's less than a well whiskey once a month. Also, there's going to be a great sample pack coming up for my higher dollar patrons. I'm going to be doing a really cool Bottle and Bond whiskey tasting. That's also in June. I'm going to start sending out the requests to get people to opt into that tasting here in the next few days. Very cool pack. Again, you're getting way more than your money's worth. I'm probably being an idiot in how much money I'm spending on the whiskey I'm sending to people, but I want this to be fun more than I want to make a profit on the Patreon. So there's a lot of cool stuff you guys have access to. Please consider joining www.patreon.com/thedrinkpro. it's honestly worth it. It really is. Like, a lot of Patreon will give you access to buy some bottles. I've seen a lot of things like that. You know, there's a lot of Patreons out there that I've seen where basically what you're doing is you're paying for access to stuff. In mine, you do pay for access to some things, but you also are paying to actually get stuff. Like, you don't pay me for those sample packs that come with the $12 and up or whatever it is. That's included. I've not seen other Patreons do that. I've seen other Patreons say, oh yeah, you pay me $12 or $20 a month, and then you can then go and buy a bottle from me at full retail. But I've not seen any of them actually give away free shit. Like, legit free shit. And I am. So, there. Oh, I know Trev's all in on the Patreon. Trev has been early a supporter and a big supporter, and I very much appreciate it. Cheers to you, sir. Man, that... Woo! There we go. Yeah, getting that that's a differential. There you go. That's right, Dennis. Gotta sell, baby. Always be closing. ABCs. Here we go. So the Elijah Craig. Who was it? Damn it. Gary. I think it was Gary that was gonna hook me up with a couple of I'm pretty sure Gary was going to hook me with a couple of Elijah Craig barrel proofs for a flight. I don't think this is one of them, but I will include this in that flight. This is really like classic Heaven Hill for me. It's very classic. Yeah, Nate just won a Four Roses single barrel proof just for being a part of the Patreon. Yeah, he just fucking won it. Yes, the Blue Wrench are the mediators of the stream. That's exactly what they are, buddy. And Trev says... Yeah, a lot of them all you get is a glass, maybe a shirt, but you're right. You'll get one or two little things, but I try to make the patrons really worth your while. Trav's at a level where he gets some really cool things. He'll get a lot of contact from me with some really good value bottles. DE says when we get out of hand, I think. You can get out of hand, but you know. By the way, I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I had debated about doing this, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna call DE out. DE, I believe, has been a member of the Patreon, but he's set to expire his membership. So you should re-up, DE. You should re-up, my man, because there's some really cool things in the near future that are coming your way. If you do. How about that? How's that for a sales pitch? I'm gonna call out individual motherfuckers and be like, hey, you were a patron, now I don't think you are anymore. What's going on? We're gonna get personal up in this. Oh God, I love it. Yeah. The B5, okay, I'll tell you what. So this is half empty now. That is so much better than it was when I was first cracking it. The first taste I had of the B520, I was so disappointed I didn't buy the C920. That's how disappointed I was. DE says I'm unsubscribed from everything. That's sad. That's sad. You should plug back into me. Plug into me, Dennis. Cheeseburgers, joy, and other things. Dennis just has no joy, apparently, Trev. That's why he's unplugged. But yeah, that has opened up so well. The B520 has opened up beautifully. I really didn't like that when I first tried it, but it's hitting some good notes now. There really is a consistent Heaven Hill quality that you either like or you don't from a lot of the Heaven Hill releases. And Elijah Craig barrel proofs are consistently in this sort of vein of quality that I typically really enjoy. Not always, but I typically enjoy. I tried to win a bottle of 2017 Elijah Craig 18 year. I did not win it. Sad. Money down the drain. But I hope to get another 18 year soon. I got an 18 on the shelf right there. It's good stuff, man. It really hits the spot for me. All right. Let's go get... what was the other one? What did somebody want me to try? Trev, what was I going to drink? Trevor had something. Was it Honey Hole? Oh, I'm going to get Honey Hole regardless. Now, I've got two different Four Roses, or I'm sorry, Old Forester picks. These are single barrel strength. We've reached... This is not a good sign, guys. I'm now showing the microphone the bottles. So, Old Forester has started doing these single barrels. These were actually a pair. Come on, focus. Thank you. This is actually a pair of single barrels that was done here locally in Indianapolis. Spice Jam and Honey Hole. They were first Old Forester single barrels available in the state that I'm aware of. And I split them with Trev, I believe. And so I got Spice Jam and Honey Hole. I had half of each of one. And I'm going to go ahead and try some more of the Honey Hole. There was actually another release that just recently happened of two more Old Forester single barrel proof picks. But they disappeared very quickly, and so I did not get my hands on any, unfortunately. It sounds like somebody was putting holds on them, which you're not supposed to do through that particular distributor. So sometimes you just gotta let that stuff go. This one is Warehouse H, Floor 3. It is barrel strength at 62.25%, and it is the Big Red Liquors pick from 2020. Now this smells like banana bread. Big banana bread vibes. Yeah, Trev pointed out correctly. Yeah, he wanted the Honey Hole, but he ended up liking Spice Jam better. And I think I had the same thought. I think I wanted I wanted Honey Hole, but I liked Spice Jam better as well. So it worked out for both of us that we split them because it was cool to be able to try both. You know, as much as this nose is sweet and almost like, I said banana bread, but honestly, it's kind of even sweeter than that. It's like, fruitcake. I mean, I do get honey. I mean, Honey Hole. There is honey in it for sure. But I get a lot of candied fruit on this. It'd be like cinnamon apples, a crisp autumn eve, out for a walk with your wife and your 2.5 children and your dog, around your cul-de-sac after apple picking in an orchard, and picking up two pumpkin spice lattes with almond milk, light foam, extra pump, extra shot. And there's apple butter on your toast in the morning. And somebody put an extra strip of bacon on your plate at Denny's. And you're being driven through the pumpkin patch on an electric truck that doesn't smell like gasoline. Dennis asked, how much does the nose change from the taste? A lot. The nose and the taste on this particular pour are worlds apart. On some pours, they're very, very similar. And I actually typically prefer that. It's typically a good thing for me because I usually like the noses more than the palates. But this one to me, it tastes very oaky. Little bit of like chocolate and cinnamon. Oh, what is it? There's a chocolate, cinnamon. There's a drink that includes chocolate, cinnamon, and hot peppers. I can't think of the name of that drink, but that drink is what I'm getting on the palate for this particular pour. Then it says, cow got into the onion patch and 8 pump sugar free. Yeah. Absolutely. You're understanding you're on the frequency, Dennis. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is oakier than I want it to be. The nose is very beautiful. I feel like the oak on that actually detracts from it. Trev says, it's a lot easier to say coffee black. That's true. When I'm getting something like that, I'm getting a milkshake. If I'm drinking coffee, I'm drinking black coffee. If I'm drinking something like that, I'm drinking a caffeinated milkshake. Let's try the other one. Let's go in on the spice jam. Come on. I want you to focus. There it is. Spice jam. We'll do a side-by-side of these two. Now, right away, spice jam on the nose is very similar. It's a little bit less sweet and a little bit more earthy. So this gives me real, like, for some reason these are both very fall in terms of the notes on the nose. It reminds me of the season fall, autumn. Getting real autumn vibes out of these. But this one's more like raking the leaves. Raking the leaves, maybe like digging in the backyard to plant a tree. But the palate to me is more interesting. That spice does show up, but it shows up. So on this first one, because it's so mellow, yes, it's honey up front, but it's so mellow that it very quickly gets taken over by this pepper and this oak, and they just become dominating flavors. Whereas with the spice jam, the spice hits you up front, and because of that, up front it's all pepper, and then mid palate gets to be honey, like roasted almonds with honey roasted almonds or honey roasted. Yeah, honey roasted almonds. And then the mid palate becomes black pepper into even a almost like a cayenne or something. It's very spicy. And then it's got a long finish. And it's not nearly as oaky as you'd expect it to be. Yeah, that's really solid stuff. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got one more pour in me, and then I'm going to sign off. Somebody send me $1 on Venmo and tell me what to drink. I mean, I will accept more than $1, don't get me wrong, but somebody should send me a couple dollars on Venmo and tell me what to drink, and I'll drink it. And if I don't have it, then thanks for the donation. Or, you know, you can just put it in the chat, I guess. I guess I won't be mad about that. Thanks, Dennis. I didn't even tell you what I was doing. I saw that. Thank you, Dennis. I didn't even tell you. So I just blended together what I will say amounts to 2 parts Barrel Private Select, Old Forester, 1 part Old Forester Honey Hole, and 1 part Old Forester Spice Jam. So I blended like half of this with half of the Old Forester, quarter of each of the 2 original barrel picks from Indianapolis. This smells amazing. Amazing. Oh no. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, it's like gingerbread cookies. Dennis says peer pressure is my type of virtue. Dennis is really just trying to live the virtuous life. And he's realized that liquor and peer pressure is the way. It is the right path. I'm pretty sure the Greek philosophers spoke of that path with much regard. Baller's buddy's got to head out. It was good to drink with you, my friend. Cheers. Have a good night. Oh, okay. Here we go. So, I really liked the banana bread vibes, and I really liked the oakiness on the Old Forester, but I feel like it was missing something when I mixed it with that barrel. The cinnamon showed up. Oh. It becomes cinnamon, almond, honey, oak. Wonderful mid palate. And it's got this wonderful, incredibly long, sweet, soft finish. Dennis has a life filled with liquor and peer pressure as some sort of Talos. Night, buddy. Cheers, my friend. Thanks so much, Dennis. Appreciate you, my man. I appreciate you greatly. Have a good night. Nate says I should revisit the Larceny barrel proof, but Nate, that's not you. That's not you. So how do I do that though? How? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. You know, it's funny. I really disdain a lot of the nonsense you have to do to make a YouTube channel successful with ass kissing. Oh, okay. I didn't know Dennis wasn't leaving. I didn't know who the buddy was you were talking to, Dennis. Well, no worries then. I'm glad you're still here. I've talked before many times about how I disdain the ass kissing that you have to do with industry folks and with other YouTube channels to try to fair point, Nate. To try to build a brand and grow your channel. I'm just not willing to do that. But what I am apparently willing to do is to shamelessly ask you, my friends and viewers, for money. Apparently, shamelessly asking my friends and viewers for money is totally fine. That may require some moral examination in the future. We'll have to look into that. That blend is just perfect. Just perfect. Oh. Well, you know what? Nate is offering me free lodging. And I can't blame him for that. As Trev correctly pointed out, in this world nothing is free. Well, certainly not from Nate, that's for damn sure. Nate's gonna get his silver. Oh, you can see my sexy basketball shorts and my wrinkled linens. Now we're at Drink Pro After Dark shit. Alright. This is the first. You know, I thought about buying some of the more recent Larceny barrel proofs, but none of them have really gotten very good reviews. And I haven't been able to try many of them. I've got one other one I'm going to try in the near future that somebody gave me a sample of. But we're going to revisit right now the A120. It's 123.2 proof, 61.6% alcohol. This was the first barrel proof Larceny standard release. So let's give this one a taste-a-roo. Now, tell you what. Now, this is 61.6% compared to the Elijah Craig, 63.6%. The Larceny is the wheated mash bill, but I do believe both are coming out of Heaven Hill. The nose, at least, I really prefer the Larceny. And, you know, this bottle has been half empty for a long time. That will change the qualities of the whiskey. I don't understand how something can be 61.6% alcohol. It's 61.5% alcohol, and it falls flat on the palate. It tastes flat. I've just tried the Elijah Craig barrel proof. I just tried 2 barrel proof Old Foresters, and I just drank what amounts to a barrel proof barrel bourbon at 56 and some change. That's up in the barrel proof range. All of those had more going on, more characteristics than this fucking Larceny. I mean, it smells fine. It's a little bit baking spice, a little bit sharp, pretty soft and sweet. Definite like cinnamon raisin bagel vibes with some chocolate. Like, it's like cinnamon raisin bagel with Nutella on top as the nose. But the palate, it's soft honey. It's grain. It's black pepper. It's a little bit of cayenne or maybe like Thai chilies. And that's it. And it doesn't evolve a lot. It doesn't evoke anything in particular. It's just okay. And it came, and I think that's why when I bought this bottle, it was coming into a very packed field of barrel proof batched products. I mean, it was a packed field even for Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill is a couple of different barrel proof batch products. So, I came into this thinking like, well, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. But it's a wheater, so I'll give it a try. I've honestly had far more impressive Larceny store picks than I have barrel proof selections. Now, I haven't tried the barrel proof B520, and that was one that somebody really liked, and they sent me, I think Ken sent me that. So I'm going to give him a shout out. But God, I can never say his last name right, and it's always so embarrassing. Ken has a very unique from my side of the world last name. Two hours. Yeah, it's just not interesting to me. It's just not interesting. I wish there was more going on in that pour. I really do. Well, I've got 7 of you in the stream. I feel like I should do something. I feel like I don't know. I want to reward the 8 people now. I want to reward the people that are sticking around, that are here with me for a couple hours. I'm trying to figure out the best way I can reward you guys. Tony has a Larceny B520 and a C920 if you compare them to the A120. Well, I forgot to tell you, Tony. I think you messaged me. Let's go ahead and plan on having me come down on Saturday morning, late morning, like 10 a.m. I'm going to swing by and we'll swap some pours, all right? Tony's in the Patreon. Cheers, Tony. Yeah, I would love that. I might have the B520. Let me confirm that before Saturday, and we'll get that sorted. But yeah, I mean, I want to do something for the people that are here. What can I do? What could I do? Maybe like a fresh crack? That could be a good option. No, I got it. I know what I'm going to do. So, I have been re-seasoning my barrel. For those of you who don't know, I've got a little mini barrel. I'll grab it in a second. But Dennis has got to run. Have a good night, Dennis. Appreciate you, my brother. Love you too, my man. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Yeah, so I've got a mini barrel, 3-liter mini barrel that I've done a couple of aging projects in, and I have seasoned before, but it didn't really season well, and so I got super fucking serious about this seasoning. I'm going to grab that, and we're going to do something fun for my remaining stream friends. I'll be right back. Okay. I have my hands full, and you will see why soon. So, before we crack into the barrel, let's talk a little bit about this. So, those of you that don't know, there is a man named Dan Kidd. Dan Kidd got internet famous during the pandemic here in Indianapolis because every day, he's a personal fitness trainer, and so his job just wasn't able to be done during the pandemic, and so he was basically just out of work. And every day during the pandemic, he would start drinking at 2 p.m. and he would film a little video and put it up on Facebook, his 2 o'clock chugs, and he would take a bottle. He would chug from the bottle. Sometimes some really legit chugs, not just a couple little nips. No, legit chugs. And, talk about his experience with it. And he got a lot of clout for it. So much clout, in fact, that local distillery, non-distillery producing / liquor store, we won't really get into the details of that relationship. Krogman's, right there, Krogman's Presents, they put his face on a bottle. Dan Kidd's 2 o'clock chugs. This is him chugging. And I like Dan a lot. He's a good person. He and I have talked a lot about whiskey. We've shared some fun pours. He's a good dude. And, you know, this is basically just 3-year-old MGP. It's their high rye bourbon mash bill. But it's not wax dipped. The reason this one is wax dipped is because I talked with Dan and I said, Dan, we should do a promotion together. We should do some kind of something where I will take the 2 o'clock chugs whiskey, I will age it in my mini barrel here. So it's double aged 2 o'clock chugs. I will wax dip the bottles, and then we can do a giveaway on Instagram. If you like both of our pages and you comment and you share, then you will get an entry into a drawing to get a free bottle of Dan's 2 o'clock chugs. Tony Two Toes is here. What's up, Tony? Cheers, my man. Well, I did the whole process. Dan gave me 2 bottles. I put in 2 bottles. We put all 3 liters into my barrel. We aged it. I tasted it throughout the process to get it just right. I got the bottles together. I got them sealed. And Dan has now deleted his Instagram account, which had several thousand followers, and seems to have stopped his whole YouTube, Instagram, internet presence, which leaves me stuck with some of these bottles. And I'm not really sure what to do with them, to be honest with you. Kilco is in the channel. Hey, Kilco, I need to send you a tracking code. Your whiskey is in the mail. But I need to figure out what Dan wants me to do with his bottles, because I made 2 for him and 2 for me. Well, really, I made 1 for him, 1 for me, 1 for us to give away, and then 1 for us to drink and share. But either way, I need to figure out what he wants done with his bottles, because now that he doesn't have a YouTube channel, or a Instagram rather, he never had a YouTube channel, but now that he doesn't have his relatively high-profile Instagram, giving these away is not something that will make sense within the context of that channel. So, who knows? So, why did I bring this all up? Well, I have an unwaxed version of this. This is the 2 o'clock chugs, but this is the barrel aging. You can tell by the color. I don't have any of the regular stuff handy, but the color is meaningfully different. This is much darker. And so I'll do a little nip of that, and then I'm going to pull some fun shit out of this barrel here. So let's do a wee nip of the 2 o'clock chugs. Barrel finished edition. That sounds good. Thanks, man. Thank you, Kilco. That's exactly what I need. Yeah, see, and I really like what happened with this barrel aging. So, now it's got this real sweet candy gingerbread vibe. It's got like cinnamon, like spice drops, like gumdrops. Yeah, we can do that too, Trevor. I mean, one of these bottles is mine, so we can definitely side by side with Nate's and see how the aging changed it, because I really like what happened. It's got a really nice brightness. A little bit of that fresh oak is in there, which wasn't in the initial. I feel like it's lost a lot of the youth that came with a 3-year-old MGP. But it's got this wonderful sweet sugar, dessert, baking spice, treat, candy, all kinds of great things. On the palate, it's pretty oaky. Dry oak, cinnamon, honey, and then I'd say pecan. Pretty short finish. That's my only complaint about this pour. The initial bottling was a short finish, and I wasn't able to add a longer finish with my aging process, the way I did it at least. It's a very oaky whiskey, but I'm not mad about it, which, that's usually something that I get with the lower proof older, like the Elijah Craig 18 year over here. Like, that's a pretty oaky whiskey, but it's a lower proof, and it's mellow, and I don't mind it. This right here, I mean, this is 57% alcohol. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm actually sure you can't see that. There it is. This is 57.65% alcohol. And me putting it into a barrel didn't lower the alcohol at all. I assure you of that. So, this is a high proof whiskey that just really has a wonderful dry oakiness. But it's got a short finish. But it's so mellow for what it is. It's dangerous. Sweet, slightly oaky. It's good, but it's dangerous. All right. Now we're going to do the grand finale. I don't know what Tony Two Toes and Kilco are talking about in the chat, but now I'm really curious because Tony Two Toes is sending Kilco something that reminds him of childhood. I want whatever that is. I want a pour of whatever that is. Tony Two Toes, yeah. Did you test it after it came out? The evaporation in the barrel could have raised or lowered it. I was not able to test it. That is true. I will say that where it was being aged was in my back room, which was hotter than my house. And typically, the hotter spaces lead to a higher proof pour. And part of that's because of the way alcohol evaporates versus the way that water evaporates. And so if you look at higher, like the easiest example is Four Roses. The Four Roses almost without fail, the higher up in the rick house, the higher the tier, the higher the proof. And that's a heat process. It's one of the reasons you can get 18-year whiskey or 20-year whiskey that's coming out of the barrel at like 50%. Guar whiskey. I know about Guar. I've listened to Guar, but I have never heard of Guar whiskey. That is something special. Trevor says, how can you make the finish longer? That is a great question. And that really comes down to the chemistry behind whiskey. I am not convinced that anybody actually knows. And by that I mean, on paper, people certainly know. People know which chemicals taste like what. But I'm not convinced that people know how those chemicals fit into the palate generally. Like, there are certain chemicals that taste like lemon. There are certain chemicals that taste like orange. But I'm not convinced that people understand the science of whiskey well enough yet to be able to say, I'm going to make that chemical enter the whiskey so that it finishes with that flavor. That is a level of specificity I don't think they've quite achieved yet. Now, maybe they will someday. There's certainly a lot of very smart people in the whiskey world, and we're really seeing a shift in whiskey production away from the sort of tactile, touch, feel, taste, and just experiential knowledge world, which is, I would say, the last of that breed of the Russells, honestly. I mean, there are some other people in the world of whiskey that have that kind of like experience-driven model, but the people that always speak to me in that world are the Russells. The Russells are unequivocally touchy-feely distillers, and by that I mean it's gut instinct, it's feeling, it's not science that's driving their distillate. And there are others that are very science-focused. So getting the science of, to answer Trevor's question, getting to the science of that that long finish is something I don't think anybody's been able to do yet. Tony Tuto says, fairly sure the specific density of the wooden staves has a large part on the taste that gets imparted. Well, it certainly would. I mean, I'm just operating based on logic. I mean, part of what is pulling flavor into distillate is the amount of liquid alcohol that's going into the wood and pulling out of the wood. That in and out of the wood, from the hot and the cold, that's what's pulling flavor out of the whiskey. And depending on how deep you get into the actual stave, depends on which flavors you get. So if you have a very dense stave, it may be hard to get that super oaky flavor because it's deeper in the wood. You'll stay on the surface level and get the char, which will mellow out the whiskey, or you'll get just beyond that and get to the sweet flavors that are being pulled out, that caramelized sugar that's being pulled to the surface by the charring process. Whereas a less dense wood may only be able to sit in a barrel for a short amount of time because very quickly the liquor, the spirit will get into the oaky, astringent part of the wood and pull in woody flavors instead of charred, mellowed flavors or sweet caramel or sugar flavors. The science of whiskey is absolutely very interesting, that's for sure. Mike McAllister is in the chat. He said, late to the show, what's the verdict? Here's the verdict, Mike McAllister. The verdict is go buy the Golden Age Rye. Come on, focus. And that I can't focus my webcam. J.W. Kelly, Golden Age Rye is 47%. This is a 2-year-old, 47% alcohol rye whiskey. It's 60% rye, 20%, 60 or 65% rye, 20% malted barley, 15% malted rye. Less than $30. It is the best 2-year-old rye I've ever tried. I haven't tried a ton of 2-year-old rye, cards on the table, but I can't think of a 2-year-old rye I've tried that I like better than that. Not saying there isn't one, just saying I've never tried it. So I'm going to buy a bottle of that tomorrow. And we'll see how it goes. Tony Tuto says, trees don't grow exactly the same, knots and all. It's super tough to regulate. Totally the case. And I'll tell you what, Tony, one of the things I'm really looking forward to is hearing more about the experiments being done by Buffalo Trace. Harlan Wheatley has talked about this a little bit, that he has, you definitely should grab one, Mike. Harlan Wheatley at Buffalo Trace is working on, I think, a 30 or 40-year project where they're taking different types of oak and different growing environments and seeing how those specific nuanced differences in how those trees are being grown affects the flavors in the whiskey. So Buffalo Trace is the only distillery that I've heard of doing a specific public experiment on how the growth of the trees affects the flavors in the whiskey. Because you're totally right, Tony. It is so incredibly hard to control because the wood is such a variable. So if Buffalo Trace can hone in on what they need from the oak, then we're going to be entering a new era of whiskey aging and distilling. That's just my opinion. That's my guess. It's going to be a whole new world. A whole new world. Oh, I'm been drinking. Take one more sip of the good old Dan's 2 o'clock chug. Shout out to Dan Kidd. He's a good dude. Hope he figures out whatever stopped him from continuing his channel. I keep saying channel. His Instagram page. Ooh, get the hiccups. Tony says, we're easily 50 to 60 years out from getting that really regulated. I totally agree. But I also hope to live for 50 or 60 more years. So maybe in my lifetime, I'll be able to see it. That's all I'm hoping for. You know what? Oh boy, I can feel it. I'm about to get on a soapbox, boys. I'm trying to take an approach to my life now after a lot of years of living in ways I don't approve of today. I'm trying to take the approach now that, like, I want to appreciate everything I can. I want to absorb everything I have, and just really live in the moment and appreciate my life as in any way that I'm able. There are so many things I can't control. I need to find a way to enjoy the things I can control and be present and appreciative of what I've got. And so any new developments that are coming that I get the chance to see, I'm excited to see. I want to absorb them as much as I can. And, you know, am I going to live to be 100? I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but you never know. And if I make it, I'll be happy to be here. And if I don't, so be it. My time will come. And until then, I'm going to live every day to the fullest of my abilities. And honor all the people who came before me and who made me who I am today. And keep that tradition moving forward. And, you know, that's all I can do. Everything other than that is out of my control. And if you're... Tony really pulled me out of that space by saying, take shrooms or acid to get in that headspace really helps. Well, this is a public stream, so I probably shouldn't talk about taking shrooms or acid, but I will say that I had a lot of unique college experiences, and what I have learned from those experiences is that I've never been in a space that I couldn't get to. Let me say it this way. I've never been in a headspace that I wanted to be in that I couldn't get to without chemicals like that. I feel like that's saying enough. Anyway, let's move on. Tab25 says he deleted his personal Facebook account too, although Heavy Bourbon is still there. I did not know that. That's good to know, Tab25. I've tried to stay in touch with him. I got his phone number, so hopefully things are okay at home. Cheers to another 70 years for you. Cheers, Tony. Tony Two Toes, cheers. Tony Ramsey called it. Yeah, you did, Tony Ramsey. Tab25, don't quote me statistics. Nate says, I think one of the ways of being present that I need to work on is just simply putting my phone away. Damn thing makes it so easy to be distracted. It really does. It really does. Putting your phone down makes a huge difference. Kilko says, I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. I don't know anything about that. Oh, what is happening? Okay, so what's in this barrel right now I'm hoping you can hear that. This barrel is full of JTS Brown. Now, this particular JTS Brown has been in this barrel a while. I legit don't know how long it's been in this barrel. But the whole point of putting it in this barrel, number one, was to preserve the barrel, because you can't leave these barrels unfilled or they will very quickly become not watertight and become basically useless to you. But number two was I wanted to get this thing properly seasoned, because I had seasoned it before with some stuff and I didn't leave it in there very long. And I said, I'm going to fucking season the hell out of this. I'm going to really season it this time. And so I don't know how long the JTS Brown has been in here. JTS Brown is a bottle and bond 4-year-old product, so whatever's in here now is surely going to be over-oaked. But for you, my friend, fan, and viewer, I'm going to pop off a little bit of this. First of all, I'm going to open the bunghole. That is what it's called. That's a technical name. And I'm going to pour out a little bit. This is going to be sketchy as fuck. Okay. That worked pretty well. that worked about as well as I could hope, to be honest. You know what? So part of the point of all this was to say, like, this has not been... I don't believe this barrel has been seasoned well enough. I'm going to put something in there and just let it turn awfully dark. But, like, that doesn't look bad. It's a little cloudy, but everything that's coming out of that barrel looks cloudy. I don't know why. That's not my favorite. But, I mean, like... It's not really any darker than that 3-year-old barrel-aged George T. Stagg. Or, George T. Stagg. Yeah, fucking right. The, the 2 o'clock chugs. This smells good, though. It's got so much cinnamon oak kick now. Like, I always enjoy JT... Ugh, fuck, I don't have George T. Stagg. I want George T. Stagg. It makes me sad. Trevor's never even seen JTS Brown. Trev, I gotta introduce you to my fucking bottom shelf brothers, and we're gonna drink some cheap shit, and you're gonna be going to yourself, why the fuck am I spending $80 on these bottles of whiskey? This thing is $10, and it's good. Not great. It's not great, but it's good. But this right here, man... JTS Brown is sweet, it's creamy, it's super easy to drink. This, though, this smells like a snickerdoodle. If I had GTS, I would drink it, Trev. This thing smells like a hot snickerdoodle. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, boys, we're learning today. I was so convinced that I was just making, like, I opened this barrel tonight fully with the intent of, like, tasting something, going, holy shit, it's dark as fuck, and it tastes like I'm chewing on an oak stave and it's terrible, and spitting it out, and getting the laugh, and calling it a night. But I underestimated how well seasoned this barrel was. Because this right here... This is fantastic. Now, maybe it's because I've had a bunch of pours before, but everything I've had before is more expensive than this. This is the cheapest thing I've tried this far tonight by a meaningful amount. It legitimately was a $10 fifth that I poured 4 of into this mini barrel. This is fucking good. We're learning something today, boys. I may have to pull that. You know, I put that in there to leave in forever, or for a long period of time. But, man, that's so good, I may have to pull that. That's like a dilemma. I'm having like a moral crisis over here. Because the whole reason I put JTS Brown in it was I was going to leave it in that barrel for a long fucking time. It was going to get over oaked, but I was going to really season that barrel. Like, really season it. And now, I'm tasting this $10 on paper whiskey. If you blind tasted that, you would think it was a $50 whiskey. At least. At least. Who makes JTS Brown? Who makes it? I'm looking this shit up. Because I'm on a mission now. JTS Brown. It's Heaven Hill. Okay, it's fucking Heaven Hill. All right. We're about to really, we're gonna really go for this. We're gonna really go for this, boys. What's this? Yeah, it puts that MGP to shame. All right. We're really doing this. We're really doing this. Side by side. My $10 JTS Brown barrel aged versus this Elijah Craig 18 year. This was approximately $100 and some dollars. Now it's got a lot more fruit on the nose. Minty fruitiness on the nose, which the JTS Brown is very bland on the nose. I get sweetness, I get a little bit of oak. But the Elijah Craig single barrel has a lot more vibrancy. Yeah. Very fruit forward. It's sweet. This particular single barrel Elijah Craig is very fruit forward, very sweet. You would never in a million years guess it was 18 years old. Tony Two Toes, 100 some. Sheesh, I paid close to 300 for my EC18 year. It was a lotto. I was able to buy it from a lotto pick. Okay, so side by siding it with the EC18, it's a lot shorter finish. It's a lot more mellow. The whole palate, even though it's actually higher proof. Well, I don't know how the aging affected it, but I mean, if you gave me each of these pours and you said how many times more expensive is the Elijah Craig 18 versus this mystery pour, I would say 3 times more expensive. Which again would put the price on, yeah, that would put the price on for my payment, not what the Tonys have paid, would put my price around $50. So yeah, like I turned a $10 whiskey into a $40 or $50 whiskey with some barrel aging. We'll definitely blind it. Trev, I think Nate mentioned we should test that theory. We will. I'll bring a little bit of that. I mean, we'll put it in a blind too. I don't want y'all to know where it is. We'll put that in a blind. But I may have to pull that because that's really solid. All right, guys. It's after 11, and I still got some chores to do before I go to bed, and then I got to work a full day tomorrow. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you for being members of the Patreon if you're here. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It helps me immensely. Everything you guys do to support this channel, even if it's just showing up and chatting in the streams, that matters a bunch to me. It makes this more fun. It makes it more engaging. I love you all. Thank you so much. Keep drinking like professionals. And hey, play with your whiskey a little bit. This was a lot of fun. I'm really surprised by the results. I'm happy to do it. I'm going to buy some of that Golden Age Rye from J.W. Kelly. It's been a good night, guys. Cheers. Oh, yeah.